race is just a 1% of the time. Training is 99%. I wanted to do something as an individual sport. Just took up running, and there's been no looking back.
You said you did a couple of things that you shouldn't have.
I have not learned anything in doing like school, college, degrees, your boardroom meetings, all rubbish, man. The real learning in life is when my first ultra. It was the Javadu Hill Ultra. It's conducted by CTC. Those were the days, you know. Entry fees, you guess how much it was? 300 rupees.
What? As soon as UTMB selection happened, you decided to move to the mountains. Weren't you scared of what lies ahead?
Time for UTMB.
What was it like being at the start line?
It was, now that I've done over 50 ultras, I can say that it was crowded, and it was, it's over 2,500 runners, and the kind of hard work you have to put in to prepare for such a race is what drives me.
What does that training look like? I want to hear Hell 480.
अरे कोई नहीं है, बच्चों का खेल है, कर लो। कोई भी कर ले।
Sure. Was it at the end of a Solang Sky Ultra that you were found crying?
You can call me whatever you want, but an athlete is an athlete. If you don't win, it hurts, and it hurts really bad. I built a little hut from my own hands and stayed near the shivling.
But what are the odd jobs that you do there?
There's no shame in saying this. Money has been hard to come by after COVID too. The 2 years was nothing. Days have gone by when I have no food.
What do you hope to achieve with this? You're putting in a lot. Where do you want to get to?
So I'm saying Sarkar can assist. You're saying brands can do. And actually, कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा है right now.
कुछ नहीं हो रहा है. There's no doubt.
What's the way forward?
What God do you believe in?
The God who never answers my prayers. You believe in God as well? What?
That's a tough one. Welcome to the Find Your Ultra podcast. If you're not a runner, I'm pretty sure you don't know what this episode is about. But if you are a runner, I'm pretty sure you can't wait for this conversation to begin. Because this one is with my friend Shashwat Rao, who's an elite athlete. Shashwat is a trained engineer. He's from Bangalore and he used to work with an IT firm. That's when he started ultra running. And when he got serious about it, he left everything and moved to the mountains. So he moved to Manali. That's where he's been training for the last many years. And while he's been there, it's not like he's been fooling around. He's worked his ass off. He's trained himself into a world-class athlete. Shashwat has done multiple races of repute across the world. He's been a podium finisher in many local races local but races of repute such as the Solang Sky Ultra, Malnad Ultra, multiple times over. And there are just way too many. I have to read out some of these from here. He's also done the prestigious UTMB and many others. He's also run the international races such as the one in Italy, Tour de Gens, that's how they pronounce it. 330 kilometers with 24,000 meters of elevation. And the other one, Tour de Glaciers, 450 kilometers, 32,000 meters of elevation. These are insane. For me, this podcast really is a celebration of what he's done so far and what he intends to do in the times to come. Things haven't been the easiest. Ultra running is not a cheap sport, and sustaining yourself as a full-time athlete in the mountains is not the easiest, as you'll hear in the stories. There's barely any support from the authorities. There's barely any support from the brands. He's been banking on us, the regular folks. So this is really a plea to all of you. Listen to the story, and if this appeals to you, please go ahead and support him. The details of the page are in the show notes. Please listen in and please support. And by the way, a bonus. He's also the first finisher of the Hell Race 480 challenge. First finisher from India. So this is quite a race story. I have discussed this with the race director Vishwas Sindhu in detail. But here you'll hear the runners, the athletes' perspective of what actually went on there. So for us, the audience, looking at the videos, it appeared to be like a test match coming to a last ball finish or last over finish. So it's that fascinating. Do tune in. So without further ado, here's Shashwat Rao and me in the Find Your Ultra podcast, episode 60. Indulge away. Shashwat Rao, welcome to the Find Your Ultra podcast.
Thank you, Vipin. The pleasure is entirely mine. Yeah, thank you.
So you're a trail runner, one of the better ones that we have. You're one of the best athletes in the country. And me and a lot of my friends have been following your journey for many years. And it's glad that we're getting to speak to you today. So, a lot of us are looking forward.
Like I said, if I've been invited to your podcast, that means like I've made it. I feel that he's calling me good. I've been looking forward to it, and nice place you have, very comfortable, and my first time too. So
Very
excited.
kind, sir. Thank you for your kind words. Except that we screwed up with the pizza thing. We forgot that you're a vegan. Yeah. Anyway, so there's so much that you have a vast experience. Like you've done numerous races, and all very rich in experience and very tough. Like at least for the city dwellers, those look like races that'll break you. Anyway, so you train for them. You live in the hills, you live in the mountains, and you train for these tough races, and then you do them. Before we get to the races bit, let's get to know you a little bit. I met you for the first time in Bangalore Stadium around in 24 hours, right? Where you met me and I was literally crawling and you said, Dodo, and I was like, apna kaam karo. So and I think you were a podium finisher in that race. But it was I remember the words. You were like, you've come all the way from Delhi, I want you to have a good experience and go. And you didn't even know me. You're randomly talking to this guy on the track. So it was so nice of you to do that. Let's get to know you a little bit before running happened to you. Take us back to your childhood.
Shashwat Rao, also known as Rao in Himachal and places abroad, they just call me Rao. I was born in Bengaluru. I'm a South Indian Brahmin boy. Was told to study all the time, just focus on studies and not much sports in the initial years. I've been moving around since my father was transferred his job here and there. So I did see the country, the length and breadth of the country by the time I was in my teens. And schooling was very average. It's not like some big story wherein I come from really poor background and some rags to riches story, something like that. Nothing very dramatic. It was just an ordinary guy, quite odd, or probably a little beyond average, I would say, in studies, but not really the topper of the class or anything. And I did schooling in Chennai when I was young at junior school, and high school we moved to Indore, and that's when I really started playing cricket seriously. You also a cricket player, right? You would understand those teenage years. It took to the game because that was the time when there was a World Cup in India, the '96 World Cup. There was so much craze. So cricket, I could tell I'm a little bit of a cricket tragic in a way. Couple of my friends were then playing for the state team, but then I trying hard, but always the first to the ground, first to practice, and last to leave. That work ethic was instilled right then. Cricket is a gentleman's game, and
at least it used to be.
Why? What makes you say so?
Cricket has changed a lot. Like it's hard to say it's a gentleman's game now.
Okay, that way it's okay, but that's what I learned a lot in childhood days. I remember we had the BDM, the
bats,
brand, the BDM
and the
had
pads
the logo,
and everything.
Cricket builds character. I
right.
remember that. Then just fast forward. I didn't know what to do after school. Basically, it's just cricket was all my life. Just playing the hanging ball, all day, all night. And
you were a batsman.
Batsman. My father also played cricket, so he was an inspiration too. I was batsman, and but I not really get the that success, what you would call in that age. Distinctly remember when after school my dad asked, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to play cricket. That was one time when he said, no, but what do you want to do in life, in college? What do you want to study? That's what he meant. And I knew nothing. I did not know that engineering, which he wanted me to get in his 4 years. I just thought, okay, after school we go to college, and it was he really quite blind. He's not with us anymore. He said, no, you're not doing this. You better go to Bangalore and do your engineering. So dreams shattered, and first time away from home. It was very difficult and lonely for me back then. And did a couple of things I shouldn't have done. I still continued to play cricket every now and then with the club cricket and first division cricket. But you know how it is with those 4 years in engineering. You know, they say it makes you a man, it makes a boy a man. So exactly what city life has to offer, and the good and the bad, mostly the bad, and we've been through that.
You said you did a couple of things that you shouldn't have. Well,
yeah, we shouldn't have done that. In hindsight, is like that now, because probably I take that back. Every who is in that situation would have done that. Yeah, you know. But it's okay. I did well in studies. I used to get. I don't know, naturally. I was hardworking. I did well in college. I passed with distinction. And what else? It was time for to get a job then, right? So as you throw a stone in Bangalore, what does it hit? Hit an engineer. And
yeah.
Went and got into the IT industry. I worked for Hewlett Packard for about a year, 2 years, and then that was when I realized that, you know, get your higher studies done as well, because that was what we boys are taught, to study, finish your studies as much as possible. So I got my I did an MBA. Did a couple of jobs here and there in the media industry, in sales, in advertising. All this was happening when even on the side I was playing cricket. I was running to work. I was cycling every day, 20 kilometers. I was just doing your thing. And club cricket did not really give me that platform to perform and grow. And there is always the age factor in cricket, where they say the selection does not go beyond under 23, right? Under 19 is there, under 23 is there. That didn't happen. And then fast forward, then I wanted to do something as an individual sport. Yes, cricket is a team sport. You know, there is so much involved. That was what happened with me. Even if you're performing, if the team does not perform, you're not going to go. So I wanted to show my work ethic, my talent, see how hardworking I am. So I just took up running, and the first run was a 10K in Bengaluru. It was a run Cubbon Park. It was the Sunfeast 10K, I think, back then. I'm not really sure.
What year was this? 2016, 15?
I have to really look into my medal hanger. It's clearly before 2011. Must be around 2011, 2010, sometime there. Like it was last few kilometers as we finish from the Cubbon Park. My heart is just beating so hard, so fast. I thought I would die there of heart attack. You know, I was such a rookie. There was no training, nothing. It's just something that you want to prove to the world that, okay, you're also worth something. You've done something of, you know, you can talk about. But again, 10K, that itself was, that's how it all started. And, you know, there's been no looking back ever since.
Yeah, it must have been that time, because in 2016, which I just said, 16, 17, you were doing 100 milers and beyond.
Yeah.
So this one had to be earlier.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So the first 10K happened, and then what brought you to the world of ultra running?
Oh, it's still, there were a few years in between wherein I was pretty frustrated with my job, you know, in the city. I decided to pursue something which I like, and I did a post-graduation in sports, sports science. I went to Kolkata for a year and a half, and I was there. I did where actually I played a lot of sports, interacted with a lot of sportsmen, and studied the game, the how a sportsman lives, and there's different aspects, anything related to sports management. That was quite an eye
So
opener.
your master's was in sports management.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where you learn a lot of physiology. You learn about the management aspect of the game, and what happens behind the scenes, and also you get to play a lot of sports there. So that was a fun time for me. That by the time I passed out of that, I got jobs on sports related jobs, something which I like doing, and with the KSCA Cricket Association, and I had some stint with Decathlon as well. It was not the corporate job of clicking a mouse all day. So that's
at least some activities involved, some sport is involved.
Absolutely, movement is involved.
Yeah.
That's what I thought, and then I got into Wisden Cricinfo, the statistical arm of that, and then I was a cricket statistician for about
Wow.
4 years.
That's super interesting.
Yeah.
So you worked with Wisden?
Yes, Wisden India.
Wisden
Correct.
India.
Correct. Yeah, you
Wow.
are aware of it. Surprising. Anyway, you say wow, but
No, it's super
I
interesting because
I had to
Wisden
go to
was
office at 3 a.m., to cover the New Zealand game, or,
Ah.
they do some Bangladesh, Zimbabwe games and all that. Yeah, I used to
Wisden
tell.
rankings and all, I remember.
Correct, yeah.
Wisden used to be quite a thing at the time.
Yes. And then my job was just to watch TV, watch cricket all day. I'll say I have the best job in the world. What do you have?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just doing a bit of statistics here and there and giving it to the feed. And I did that for quite a while, for about 4
And what did you
and a half
say
years.
job title was here?
I was a cricket analyst.
Analyst.
Yes.
So
was a
you
statistics
would
related.
look at different games and there I try and identify certain patterns and come up with some theories
Yeah,
for predictions.
You can say so, and it's something called syndication, wherein you provide the data, what you see on the screen, your run rate, this thing, all that, just do that. And commentary I used to do, online commentary, and write race reports. That's a little bit of writing also passion started back then.
My ex-boss, Itu Chaudhary, also has a keen interest in sports.
I see.
He's a designer, architect by profession, but runs a design firm. And we used to we're both passionate about cricket. So we used to bet all the time. And I would bet purely on passion.
Okay.
Like, India jeetega, pil lenge, hum to ye kar denge, wo kar denge. And he would win 80% of the bets, like 80%, 80 to 90% of the times. Because he would bet based on stats.
Yeah.
And he was an analyst.
Okay.
So, and he used to come up with his own theories. So he came up with this interesting theory I'll tell you about.
You see?
He named it CCC.
Okay.
Chaudhary, because Itu Chaudhary. So Chaudhary's Chase Challenge.
Okay.
So what it says is, if you're chasing a certain total, right? At the 30 over mark, if the run rate required is less than the wickets in hands. Wickets in hand.
Okay.
So, for example, let's say you required, you have 7 wickets in hand. Your run rate required is 6.5.
Okay.
You are more likely to win. And if your wickets in hand is less than the run rate required, so let's say you have 5 wickets in hand and you require 7 runs and over, you're more likely to lose. And then they tested this, and this came to be true on 86% of the matches. They ran the data.
Statistical thing.
So, and I would just bet on passion. So that's how you used to win all the bets.
There is science behind it, even it's a resources, right? Like the DL method, and it's about which team has more resources.
DL method used to piss us off all the time. Anyway, we're digressing. But so you worked as a statistician. Which year did you leave that work then?
Oh, by then I was doing races on the side, I left my job in 2017. Yes.
Okay.
That's when I did.
So the year you met me for the first time.
Yes, by then I had done a few races. I back in 2015 was my first ultra. It was the Javadu Hill Ultra. It's conducted by CTC. It's not there anymore, but those were the days. Entry fees. You guess how much it was?
I don't know.
300 rupees.
What? For an ultra?
300 rupees
Wow.
for a 50, 70K ultra something. It
And
was
even
such
during
a...
that time, we were paying, with running and living, we were paying 2,200 for a half marathon in Delhi.
I told
That was
you
the
the north-south debate, let's not get there. CTC is such a nice, close community. You stay in a school, you camp there, everyone's together, we eat together, we laugh together, we enjoy the race, come back to the same place. It was like that. The CTC is still like that, like a community. CTC, for those who don't know, is Chennai
Trekkers.
Trekking Club by the great Peter Van Gate.
Yeah. Peter.
You will hear him soon. So yes, Javadu was. I started running ultras by then. Done a couple of road marathons. I did the Mumbai in 2012, I think. At first, that was when I was in college, and people couldn't believe that I ran 42 kilometers. You know, it was like, what do you? How many times you stop? I couldn't believe. What you guys gonna have a beer or something in between? And back then, we had there were hardly anybody who had done marathon, especially at that age. And I had a couple of races under my belt. Not many, not really podium. I was just mid pack, back of the pack only. Let me just take this off and let me do this. It was that 2016 Javadu Ultra, and then I saw that UTMB logo, which was there on a certain races. It's a qualifier for UTMB. So it struck me, what is this? Which people yearn to run abroad. And then thus began my journey. I was just ticking off the UTMB qualifiers. The Globe Racers was there back then. I'd done most of their races. And that's when...
RTR, Run the Run. Run the Run was not by them. Run of Kutch was by Kavita.
Correct. Run of Kutch is just a similar one. Same
region,
same
terrain.
Yes.
And which other Globe Racers races did you do? Like Bhatti?
The other ones, Bhatti was a loop, right? Bhatti loop. I've done the Himalayan crossing.
135?
That is a 100-mile race.
Okay.
Yeah. Uttarkashi was 135. I did that. And then they had some Nilgiris race. And they had quite a few back in the day, when they did a couple of those. And I got into the pool for lottery. I mean, everybody, correct. Everybody doesn't get an entry. For those who don't know, you have to first qualify and then put your name in the hat, and then it goes through a lottery process because it's limited to about 2,000 runners from worldwide. And I think back then I don't recollect anybody who had completed UTMB. There was a couple of NRIs, living abroad who have done it. But I got my chance after 2 years, after waiting 2 years. And that was when I decided enough of Bengaluru and enough of job.
Once your name was there in the lottery for UTMB.
Correct. Once I got in.
2017?
2017, yes. Okay. The race was happening 2017, December. You kind of get to know that you're selected.
Right. And what distance was there?
The 100 miles, the 100 miles. I have to say that they have different categories. The CCC is 100K. You have some OCC, MCC. So you have shorter races as well. But again, the one which is most sought after is the 100 miler. And that was my dream race too. I have to see what it is, and never been to Europe. And so that's when I started training earnestly.
This was in
enough of Bangalore.
Italy?
2018. No. It circumnavigates around Mont Blanc, so it starts in Chamonix, France, Italy, UTMB. Switzerland, and then goes back to France.
Yeah.
So
100 miles and some serious elevation as well in UTMB?
Yes, 10,000 meter elevation, which is just par for the course for 100 milers these
Pretty
days.
awesome.
Yeah.
So when you were selected, had you done a couple of 100 milers before that? Oh, what was the qualification?
I had done the Himalayan crossing in Spiti.
100
miles with where Bhupenderji, he ran from Poo and further on Tabo. And I joined from Kaza to Manali.
Okay.
Those were the days. I mean, just thinking back to the first 100 miles, you will know it'll be very memorable. As really wide-eyed rookie, and I'm going up to such a senior person, asking him sir, यहाँ तो पानी बह रहा है, how do I cross this nala? And he was so chill about it. He's just go, man, just go, man. जूते गीले हो जाए, अरे it'll dry, just go. And he was just carried this little stick with him, and he was trotting along. Those days were such a learning process. I did that race, only runner, only finisher. And I went to Indonesia after that. There is a race called BTS, the Bromo Tengger Semeru 100 miles. Again, nobody had done that from India, and wanted to test myself. I would still consider that one of the most challenging races in Asia, I would say. You're running through different terrain, through jungles, through volcanoes. You have to go up to the crater of the volcano and then again go down to sea level. And it was these races have cutoffs like 56 hours or 52, and there are barely any finishers till date. There will be like 3 finishers or 7 finishers, handful of them. That's it. It's not like that. And race director, a friend of mine, can I drop names here on this?
Yeah. Please.
Mr. Indra Vijaya. He is a legend in Asia, at least. He's done some. You can just Google his name. I'm not going to waste my time talking about him. He directs these crazy races in Indonesia, and I went there with my Kalenji shoes, and it rained throughout. There were no poles. The concept of poles was still very new back then, and then I did not know that. Let's not just talk about it, but it's the most beautiful sunrise in the world. Wow. It's a place called Penanjakan. You are running above the clouds.
Wow.
Above the clouds are all below you, and then the orange sun rises from below, and you're in the hills, and whatever you've been through, I was pretty fucked up at that state, and just all those pain, everything vanished. That was again that like a true 100-mile, a true mountain trail running experience, in wherein you're like totally trashed at the end, and did that, and so that progressed, and then the UTMB thing came
Did you need like 300 miles for UTMB qualification, or certain ITRA points?
It's back then the system was different. Now we have stones, what you get for every race. You collect some UTMB stones, which you have to run only UTMB races. Back then it was like ITRA, which is again under their body. ITRA races you can do all around the world. And then
would count as qualified.
They would count as qualified.
Now it's not the same.
No.
Now with the ITRA going the Ironman way, which is acquiring smaller races and labeling them UTMB.
Yeah.
And you have to run those only which are associated with UTMB to be able to qualify for UTMB.
Yeah, it's a shame, but it is what it is. It's okay. We have pros and cons. It's a long discussion. Tell me, like, if I go there, then you will know that forever.
And different people have different views on that. So I've done one podcast with Shitish.
What did he say?
He feels it's mixed. It has some good things and it has some bad things in it. Gaurav Madan is totally pissed off with it. So like,
good if money comes in. Good if athletes are benefiting from it. But then you can't monopolize the sport, right? Like we are the kings, and you run our races, and I'm not going to piss anyone off. I know the polities too, because but see the positives. They're encouraging sport. There's more prize money coming into the sport. That's how
there's more visibility. And
true.
Like I said earlier, let's face it. Like Ironman has made a brand out of it. So there's that aspiration. It's more aspirational for people to do it. So that I guess will get more people attracted towards trail running and make them want to do more of these.
True. There should be an incentive. It should be incentivized. Only when the carrot is dangling, no, tabhi to ghoda bhagega. Hey, there has to be something there.
Yeah. Absolutely. So then UTMB happened, and but as soon as UTMB selection happened, you decided to move to the mountains. Correct. Now this, I believe, is a big change, like massive change. It's a big decision. I mean, in my early days, I had I not married, and
Mhm.
at one point I didn't want to get married, I would have lived the kind of life that you're living. I saw myself as moving to the mountains and just running, not as an elite, but just for the fun of it, and maybe working from the mountains all by myself. But it just, I was destined to live a different sort of life, which is even more beautiful than I had imagined. Um, but yeah, anyway, so
No, no,
this
no.
was a
Let's keep this interactive. I want to understand what held you back then. You were
nothing.
very passionate.
It's
You
just
want
that
to do something. What is it that holds you back?
no. I didn't want to do anything. I was the sort of a person who would want to live in nature, live
Hmm.
secluded. Like running, I loved running, but it's not like I was passionate about like killing it and doing something for the country and stuff like that. No, I just enjoy. I want to enjoy and live by myself and not live the sort of material. You've seen the movie Into the Wild.
Very well. So yeah,
Yeah,
the
there you
book
go.
says it well. The book, you read the book. It's more.
I haven't
Yeah,
read the book
yeah.
though, but yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So you get the point. So that was the sort of life I saw myself living.
He was a stupid guy, isn't
He was stupid.
I mean, those who have seen it, those who know about it,
Yeah.
you don't eat wild berries. You don't like cross the river when it's low. And then he
Yeah.
did some stupid things,
He did,
which he died.
but
Okay, so let's not romanticize some stupidity. Yeah, I get your point.
but the desire to do that, and then I like, I don't know, this life chose me, and I'm pretty happy with it. Like, I'm pretty glad that I did. Now that and I had, like, for example, the birth of my daughter, I could not have imagined the kind of happiness it gives you. Like, before even like when I was imagining that sort of a life in the hills, I would not have known that this is what might like this kind of happiness exists. I didn't know that, so I didn't want it. I didn't care about it. Now, having experienced this, I feel like अगर अब मुझे वो करना पड़ जाएगा,
हाँ जी.
I'll die. Like,
Yeah.
I'll not be able to survive, I feel like. But that's an extreme version of it. It's just that I'm pretty happy with what I've got here. But this life of leaving the city, and had running not been into my life, I would have definitely, like, I guess I'm not going anywhere with this. Anyway, let's talk about you. So ये करना था मुझे, मैंने नहीं किया. मैं so ये मैं देखता था. I could have probably done this. I didn't. But when you made the decision to leave that job, what was your family's? What did your family say? And what before any of that, getting convinced about what you were doing?
Okay. Before that itself, I always had a fascination for the mountains. I used to visit these mountains every year for 5. My dad was in Chandigarh back then, so I used to visit these places. I had we just spoke about our passion for bikes. With my first salary, I purchased the Classic 500,
Royal
and I just rode all around India. That's when the this fascination, or this just deep desire to be in the wild, in the open places, in nature. This is what crept in, or even more the endurance aspect. You have to travel so far. This beautiful country of ours. That opened my eyes when I left the city. That happened prior to the running, and then I was in the mountains. I always loved this place. The move specifically to relocate to Himachal was that as I got selected at the had a chat with D'Souza. We all know
Peter Mel D'Souza.
Karan
Karan
D'Souza.
D'Souza.
Yeah. He was in Bengaluru back then. He had just moved to the mountains, and he said, "Yeah, did drop over." And I was like, "Okay, just let me follow him. He'll do
So
something."
you were visiting him.
I moved for good. I thought, okay, if he can make it, I can make it too. And I took my bag, and that guy's phone is switched off because he's got a Bangalore number. It's not working there. मैं क्या करूं? Back then it was the Nokia phone, nothing, no smartphone. Then I'm searching for him here and there in Manali for a week. I could find him. I was like going to cyber cafes now and then, checking on Strava. Oh, he's running here. Then I used to go there. Somehow we bumped into each other, and then he said, okay, I'm staying. This is what I do. But Yeah, nice guy, nice chap, and he said, "Sure, you can do your thing here." And I found a place, and he's never much around. Even these days, he's not much around Manali. He's doing his own stuff. And I was okay. It's another challenge in my life. Let me do this for a year. I've still got a year or so. Let me practice for UTMB.
What was the thought then? Leaving the job,
Yeah.
what had you like saved up enough to just train for about a year or
It's
two?
relative, but yeah, I had some.
कि कुछ काम नहीं होगा तो भी you'll manage.
Something, yeah.
Okay.
And, in the mountains, it's a lot
Cheaper.
It's a lot cheaper, and life is a lot more simple. You don't have these many things to think about. Probably it's a good thing. So, yeah, that's when that happened, and training went well, and yeah, that was then time for UTMB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it like being at the start line?
Oh, it was okay. And now that I've done over 50 ultras, I can say that it was crowded, and it was it's over 2,500 runners, and the first 5K you don't really get to run unless you're very fast. You're like, it's single track, single trails are there, so you're in time. But again, those the Alps in Europe are very beautiful, and it's totally different to Himalayas. There would be snow at 1,500 meters itself, and
Wow.
and it's very, very clean, green, just so beautiful, like picture perfect, like a postcard. Everything, It was a good experience, and since here I am, this a guy with a lot of josh. First time, yeah, just sprinting off, and I did the first half in about 12 hours. Yes, less than 12 hours. I remember it starts at 6 p.m. and then you reach Italy, Courmayeur, in about. I reached there before it was sunlight in the dark. So less than about 12 hours. I was the halfway stage, and I don't know. You see the aid station. It's not an aid station. It's a buffet. It's huge, and
Pies and cakes and
cake.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what it is.
Yeah.
It's
the variety is insane.
and I don't know what to eat. I spent like almost an hour there at the aid station. I'll eat this. I'll try that. I'll try this. And I had some soup, which was very funny tasting. I'll tell you, we screwed up my race. I took it like an hour, and then I check. You have TV screens, and then they see Killian John comes in, and then he takes 3 minutes, for the switch over, and he's off. And okay, coming to the second half, the weather deteriorated, and then again, like my race strategy was not there. Was none. I didn't even have a strategy. I mean, like I screwed up on the second half of the race, and just there was this other American Indian, Sarvana, and I was just tagging along with him, and it was like a death march, basically. I did it. I completed it because, man, I've gone so far. You said I'll do something. So,
What was the final timing then?
Yeah, close to 36.
36?
hours or something.
After doing the half in
Yeah.
24, like 12 hours?
Yeah. So you can
Wow.
imagine what a...
So the next second half. But is it like the elevation and stuff takes off in the second half? Or was it just
No. In hindsight, it's just poor planning.
And what was the cutoff like?
Cutoffs are there. Cutoffs are close to 42 hours or 48 or something like that. About 40 hours is the cutoff is not an issue. But yeah, I mean, at this stage, I would say, damn, I just screwed up a good opportunity. And again, learnings, and then positive takeaways, because it's so beautiful. I fell in love with that region, and been going there ever since. 5, 6 years I've been going to Europe.
So like we have so many races to talk about. Before we do that, I'll ask you to go back once again to Bangalore. And from Bangalore, when you were making the move, what was weren't you scared of what lies ahead?
What's there to be scared?
You have a comfortable life here. You've got a friend circle. You've got a family here. And you're leaving all of that to be by yourself.
put it on a weigh scale, on a tarazu, what would you prefer? Yeah, what do you desire?
I know
Yeah.
people who would clearly
Uh-huh.
weigh being with people
Yeah.
and living the comfortable life
Yeah.
much more than
Uh-huh.
living the solitary life in the
Uh-huh.
hills.
Uh,
So when you were
they don't
making
know
move,
the real
you,
life in the hills. Trust me,
okay,
they don't know. Yeah, because
but so you were fairly confident of this move. You were not like करके देखते
अरे
हैं कैसा जाएगा पता नहीं
यार
क्या है.
3 डिग्री किया है. I can come back to a job anytime. That backup wala mentality is there. No,
Really, is it there? Because people say
Huh?
you have a gap year and then you struggle to get
Now
into a
I'm
job
realizing
again.
that back then these things would never cross my mind, and
Yeah.
yeah,
जैसे कि gap year आ गया तो
हाँ.
you'll even if you get a job,
yeah.
you might be starting from a much lower salary than you were at.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
It's true. It's true. पैसा आज है कल नहीं है तो क्या हो परसों है ना. तेरे को बोलता है परसों नहीं है तो नर्सों कभी नहीं मिलेगा. So it was like that. It never really.
But how about your family? Who was there in the family?
Yeah, I mean,
Your mother was
mom
there?
and dad were like not really supportive.
How many
They
siblings do you
never-
have?
I have an elder sister, and she's married and she lives in the US, so she's out of the scene. And dad were like, okay, I mean, after a certain age, what will they say? You're earning money, you're doing if you want. It's like, okay. And they're not really from a sports background, right? So even till date, my mom cannot relate to what I'm doing. She never really, we don't really have that connection, just, okay, you have food or some basic things. That's all what we talk about. And they were okay with it, and I was more adamant, and then I'll do what I want to.
But usually Indian families are not.
Yeah.
It's just not their own perspective. They're worried about what will relatives say, what will everybody else around. चार लोग जो हैं, they when they worried about them, and when they worried about लड़का क्या करेगा, कमाएगा कितना, कैसे करेगा, शादी कैसे करेंगे इसकी, all of that. When they worried about that.
No, nothing of that sort. Yeah, come on. By then I was 25 or 27. I started late, no, but you know what? When I was 25, it hit me. You know, this fucked up lifestyle, partying every day, drinking, blah, 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 staying in the city, doing the same crap every weekend. I mean, हम कितना जिएंगे यार, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा 50 years. Considering this lifestyle, that was like thinking it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And then you realize, sala, half your life is khatam.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
That you know what? Back then, I distinctly remember I had asked for leaves in times of India. I asked my manager, I've been working for 1.5 years, not a single day off. Zero, 100% attendance. And listen, I want to go to the mountains, I want to do this, that. So give me maybe week or 10 days leave. He's like, sorry. I pleaded him, this, that. No, and he said, sorry. I was like, MC. I took out my card and put it on his table and told him, I'm not coming from tomorrow. Bye. Like, oh, what? You're pretty shocked, this, that, no? I said, you do what you want, I'm not coming from tomorrow. It hit the fan by then. At least the remaining life, I have to, do something which gives me joy. Can't sit and click a mouse all day, be uska gulam and hear all rubbish from, how it is in sales. I don't know. I was just being cocky maybe, but that was it.
What I struggle to understand is, how did he say no? Because was it just an asshole of a manager, or was it like your company?
Srinath, if you're listening, I didn't say it. He said it.
or the company didn't have a leave policy at all. Because of course everybody has, right? Or you exhausted all the leaves.
No
running
way.
in local races.
Are you kidding me? I was top performer for India, man.
तो फिर तो कोई
नहीं है जी, you know what it is. And I just it was a bad situation, so I said, मैं चला.
Shashwat. Okay. Right. Wonderful, sir. So yeah. Then and you're saying so family still does not like connect much with your running, and they're not much concerned with आपने क्या फोड़ा, किस रेस में क्या किया है.
No,
not really. No. Okay. All right. So then move happens, UTMB happens, and what is like? So you're now living in Manali. or?
Oh yeah. In Lower Manali, I found a place for myself, and just stayed there briefly. Again, by then I was training in Manali. I used to travel a lot. I started doing a lot of races all around Asia. Asia
Okay.
Trail Master, you might have heard.
Mhm.
They've got a series across Asia, and then all right, just a few months in summer was there, and then I used to go to these races abroad, Vietnam, Cambodia. Then I did Malaysia 100, and then I did Indonesia was my favorite, still my favorite countries. Just go there and race for cheap, and it's quite. In many cases, it's even cheaper than racing in India. Get a low cost airline, you go there, race over the weekend, and come back. My fascination there was Chris Van der Wal, who runs Asia Trail Master. He is a good pal of mine. He kept inviting me to certain races, and I used to go and race slowly. Then you maybe get a little podium here and there, and then you think, I know you don't think. Others think that okay, you come to my race and get it, like I could get invitations here and there. That happened, and there was this thing called the Grandmaster Quest, wherein if you do 7 of the races, you get something like a title and something like a Grandmaster. So I was no Indian had done it, so I was the first Indian to become their Grandmaster, and 2019. By then, I had done a few races abroad, and
these all 7 or 8 ultras.
All of them trail ultras. Yeah. Nothing on the road. Like I said, I'm too slow for the roads. But then I realized, we're not genetically designed like Kenyans, and we don't even have that. Am I giving excuses? But anyway, it's not done in history. In history of we can't beat them. So at least getting a podium in these trail races, I thought, let me stick to running these mountain ultra trail races, and been there since. Yeah.
Okay. And where do you stay now?
Oh, we just skipped about 6 years. Now I stay in Lahore and Spiti Lahore, a little above the capital Keelong. Yeah, it's a farmer's place. And I train at an altitude about 3,300 meters, so I can get used to my races abroad. But fast forwarding from 2018, I was in Solang Valley. A lot of people might know from the Solang Ultra. I stayed in Solang for quite a few years. I stayed in. I built a little hut from my own hands and stayed near the Shivling. There's a Shiva temple there. But I stayed in the hut. They call it the Koka. That's what I was talking about. And Pushkar and all had visited there. That was when COVID struck. 2020. Okay. Yeah, and then I have to. That sort of changed my life, my perspective to living and training and running. Just the solitary life. What you were talking, that actually happened then. Where you're just chopping wood and without electricity, you have to fetch water from the rivers, and it's really cold. Winters are very harsh there,
Yeah.
Stuck under snow. I was just nobody. There was nobody around. So in the interim, was in Solang for a few years, and then Manali. In that region, basically, in that region,
Himachal.
Yes, in Himachal, and I liked it. People are welcoming there. You know, Pooja is from there, right?
Yeah.
So it's they're so nice, man. I mean, it's not like there's no racism. It's not like yaar tu madrasi hai. No, never. Till date, I have never felt that. They're welcoming. Atiti Devo Bhava, and they're nice people, simple people. Their economy runs on tourism, so I'm part of that economy. Doing these odd jobs here and there. I sustain.
But what are the odd jobs that you do there?
Well, to be honest, there's no shame in saying this. I worked as a porter. There is you get these paragliding happens there. So I used to carry those paragliding 20-25 kilos, the seat and everything up to the mountain.
I've heard about that. And someone
Yeah,
said,
it's a
"ऐसे
labor
train करता है
job.
शाश्वत."
It's a fucking grueling job. I'm telling you, you like it maybe initially, but
But it's like, do you see it as training?
I see it as a bread and butter. Yeah, I mean, I need some kind of income. It was that really taught me, if these Nepalis are doing it, why the fuck can't you do it, huh? Take it up, climb mountain for 1 hour, you get 50 rupees, and then you get another 50 rupees for opening the glider, and then you run back down, and then you do the same thing again, and then we just praying and hoping to God that it's a good day, there will be good number of tourists, and that was the simple life I used to live. I am earning 300, 400 a day, but yeah, sleeping well. किसी को झूठ नहीं बोला है. I'm not doing the tourism dalal jaisa. I'm just doing some kind of middleman's job. I have not cheated anyone. I used to be happy and sleep well at night, and that's kind of that is one of the jobs I did. It's a tourism based industry, right? So there's no job I haven't done, and I've always open to doing any kind of work. Okay, there should be no like dignity of labor and what blah blah they talk. यार काम तो काम है, you have to do it. And वो किया, डाबा में काम किया है, पत्तन धोए, जिप लाइन किया है, वो किया है, बंजी जंपिंग, anything. You get 50, 100 rupees, I'm happy. Any labor intensive job, I am up for it. And then even these days now, I've gone to Lahore. I work in my neighbor's farm. The main thing is, in the harvest you get to load it. So I'm the load. I load these on trucks, and you get a few 100 rupees here and there. You get an aching body too, but hey, I've this is all I know to do now in these days. I've from the past few years, it's like, I don't know how God has been kind to me or not, but this is what I'm doing for the past few years, and saving money like 10 rupees, 50 rupees notes, an entire bag of notes I used to have. Just taking it into the bank, and these little things, I don't know why I'm just yapping away, but in hindsight, the past 5 years, money's been hard to come by. After COVID, the 2 years was nothing, and it's dynamic. A lot of things are changing, and money's been hard to come by. So I just focusing more on my training, try to train as best I can, and then I believe in God. Believe God will help me one day.
What God do you believe in?
The God who never answers my prayers. But anyway, we're all. I stayed in Anjani Mahadev. There's a Shivling, a Shivji ka mandir hai Solang mein. If some people may know, others who don't, please feel free to visit that. That is the most beautiful place on earth, I would say.
Wow.
Just without a doubt. People think
Solang Sky Ultra के बीच में आता है क्या ये?
Hanji. It comes in the shorter version, 30K.
Okay.
And I don't know, every year the route changes, but yes.
Anybody who attempts Solang Sky Ultra gets to see it.
Yes, you will go up to Anjani Mahadev, the temple, and then that is where there is a 30-foot shivling out of ice. It's beneath a cave. So I lived there in the cave. The Panditji was kind enough to just give me a place in the storeroom, so I used to stay there. And it's basically just an ashram where a lot of ascetics, babas will who are traveling. They just stay and they move on. I learned a lot from these holy men. Of course, not all of them are
Holy.
yeah. I took in the positives. My life quite changed there. People think that, wow, this place is so beautiful. This place is amazing. I want to stay here. And the minute I saw it, I wanted to stay there. And I actually moved there from my heart. And then it really taught me a lot. A little more when you're in that kind of environment, when there's no people around. It's just so you're in a temple, in an ashram. You're eating sattvic food every day. onion, garlic even. Forget about meat and all that. My only job was to do seva, just to feed the shrimps. Just roti bilna, sekna, jhadu pocha karna hai. I'm doing seva all day. And then I get food and lodging to stay there. So I used to do that. I used to help out to bring sabjis from the market, and they were happy with me. So I was there. That kind of changed my life, and then I believe strongly in Shivji, and I believe in the power of meditation, and there is this, there is some power. Would you think so? Just throwing it back to you. Are you believe in God as well? What?
That's a tough one.
Putting it briefly, what's the thing? It's like, are you agnostic or what?
So no, I'm not religious, but I go to Vrindavan quite a lot, and I do Govardhan Parikrama all the time, and I feel something. Like when I go to temples, I do sometimes get a lump in my throat. I do feel some emotions, and at the same time, I find it hard to refuse that there's something that's running the show and there's a power bigger than me. At the same time, I believe in science, and none of this is proven. And I'm tempted to still believe a little bit that there's something that may not be proven, but something that we don't understand. But it's not like I've ventured into it either. It's not like I've done deep explorations of it and not found anything. It's just that I've done superficial explorations and I dismiss them. But there's definitely something. And at the same time, all the babas and all the funny stuff that you see does make you feel a little cringy about it. And but I do feel there's a lot to mine in there. There's definitely something beyond you that's running the show. That's my belief in a nutshell. What about you?
That's what drives us. As long as earlier also, we're all people of science. Yeah, you don't what you can't see is what doesn't exist. And but hey, it is something you reach out to for not only when you're desperate, but more so when for gratitude. Days have gone by when I have no food, and then you have food, you're happy, right? God, thank God, you say. First thing, what do you say? Thank God you got food. And so yeah, there is definitely some power, and it's good. Even like you say, it's a journey. If you're agnostic, okay, you will reach some conclusion finally. But at least that curiosity is there, nah?
Yeah,
that's important.
Yeah. But you mentioned there've been days when you've had no food.
It happens, no, in everyone's life. What do you mean? I mean, there's a snowstorm. I still remember I was hitting some nails into my house, breaking the wood, and then I whacked my little finger. It broke. It just broke, and then that day it snowed so bad. Entire house was
falling apart.
It was covered in snow. So basically, I couldn't even push the door apart and head out. And the hospital is like 10 k's away. What do? I'm just praying to God. And I'm not trying to dramatize things. Just recollecting some things when this thing came up. You just be there somewhere in the corner and pray to God. Like, kuch to kar do. Somebody help me. Otherwise, mountains, they're big. So many stories, people who venture out there. Khatam, mountains just don't care. If you're not humble, if you're like cocky, then bodies won't be found. My case was like I just prayed to God. After a day or so, it cleared, and then I could somehow venture out. And that's when you realize, it's just you and this power, this superpower, which you can only pray to.
And do you feel that power in some ways, like on occasions? Like, do you get glimpses of something? in your races or in your, weird times?
No, nothing of that sort. Let me not dramatize so much.
No?
No, nothing of that
Okay.
sort. Of course, there are other things in sleep deprived state and
Ha,
hallucination and all.
hallucinations and stuff.
Hallucination. I mean, one of you was talking about it. In your podcast?
Gaurav was talking about it.
Gaurav,
Yeah.
you were all hallucination and all.
Bhupi sir also talked about it.
yes.
Yeah.
I've had a few
Yeah.
talks with him.
Yeah.
Arey yaar,
Yeah.
slap yourself out of it. You're for
Yeah.
Hey, gee, it all happens, and it's nice to romanticize these things.
Romanticize,
Right,
it's-
if you had asked me 5 years ago, my first 100 ultra, I would have said, "Oh, we so wild and all this." ये दिखाई दिया, this rock was like an elephant or something. It's just a lack of sleep deprivation. Your mind plays tricks on you, and now I think of it as, यार ये सब मत बोलो. It's a sign of you're not prepared well for the race. It's a thing to be shameful of. No, get on with it. You're here for a reason. You're an athlete, man. So that's
so God
my
to you
take.
then is somebody just who you just pray to, or thank
to. Thank God. Just thank God.
Yeah. My wife Pooja is a big believer in Krishna, and she believes that she believes in manifesting and all of that, and she does, like, she shows me all the time. She like shows me all the time, so it's sort of hard for me to reject it. I used to reject it earlier, but it's hard now. Going to Vrindavan, I have also started exploring to find a few people there that I could speak to and learn a little bit more about. So I've done one podcast with somebody. Last time I went, I came across the security guard at the resort that we were staying in. Security guard told me that there's a woman whose family is in London, and she's moved here for the last 2-3 years, and she does, so Govardhan Parvat ki parikrama hoti hai na, 21 kilometers. So she does 2 parikramas a day, barefoot. So she does one in the morning, 21k in the morning, 21 in the evening, and she's been doing that every day for the last 3 years, and she's living in this place. I was desperate to meet her. I was like, dude, इनसे मिलना है, ये कौन है? उनसे मिला मैं, and I asked her. She spoke with me very nicely for about 10 minutes, and because she had a short window in which she had to shower and then head back for her second parikrama. And I asked her if I could do a podcast with her, and she said, हम लोग यही self को खत्म करने के लिए ये कर रहे हैं, and if I do this, then somebody likes it, and then they appreciate you, and then the ego gets bigger, which is exactly what I'm trying to kill. Kill her own ego. Yeah. Okay. She is wary of that. Yeah. That offer. And she said, very humbly, I would not want to do it. I'm like, Bhai Sahab. So then, can I run with you? Can I speak with you? She said, run kya parikrama? She said, yeah, join me anytime. So the next time I go, I'll be going next week. I'll seek her and maybe do a parikrama with her and then speak her on the way. Like she like looked legit to me, like full on. Yeah, it's crazy people that you meet.
And it's been there since ages. Pilgrimages takes place all over the world. It's not just our culture, be it tribes in Mexico, or even there are monks in Japan. In Mount Hai. They do 100k every day.
Yeah,
and,
I've heard about that.
Yeah. They have like a knife or something on their by the waist, and if they don't, they kill themselves. These wandering people are there in every culture. I think it's not only in ours. So that gives an essence of what we are designed to do, or maybe that's the wrong word. What is in human nature? Is it we are, our bodies are designed certainly that way to cover long distances. So we have a strong core, long limbs, and well, it's I'll talk about this later. But my point is, it's there everywhere, and that's what we should do rather than sit and click a mouse on a chair. Yeah. Now, disrespect to anyone. And when you say no disrespect, it's obviously
precisely dialing home the point. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good.
And just to wrap up the point about her, and she also mentioned her she met
Hug?
her Guruji.
Acha, huh.
Her Guruji, she said,
Mm-hmm.
came here some 50 years ago or something to
Mm-hmm.
Vrindavan and started doing parikramas every day and something like that. He's been doing, I think, 3 a day or something.
Mm-hmm.
So he's basically on the move all the time. And he lives only on fruits and vegetables that are sold by the roadside. And the
Mm-hmm.
ones that they're going to throw, जो खराब हो जाते हैं, सड़ जाते हैं,
Mm-hmm.
वो जो फेंकने वाले होते हैं, वो खाते हैं बस खाली.
Yeah,
Or
nothing
he
wrong
lives
in that.
totally lives on that. And then she said when he moved here, he had left behind a fortune. So he was. She
Ah.
didn't name him. She
Mhm.
said he was one of the richest people in India.
You will meet all this when you travel. That's the
Yeah,
thing I
dude,
say,
it's-
man. I mean,
blows your
I have
mind.
not learned anything in doing like school, college,
Mm.
degrees, your boardroom meetings, all rubbish, man. The real learning in life is when you travel, when you open your eyes and then go and seek something outside. Outside, be it anything, be it your city, state, country, wherever you see cultures, food, religion, like what we talked. अगर don't go then अपन तो कुएं के मेंढक है.
Yeah.
What do we learn? Huh?
Yeah,
That's वही भी कर सकता है, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of your races.
Okay.
You've done quite a few. So let's talk about the one you did in Hong Kong in 2019.
Oh, the Nine Dragons? Huh?
Yeah.
I've been to. If anyone's been to Hong Kong, they will know that it's such a beautiful city. It's just surrounded by mountains. So there are 8 peaks around Hong Kong, and then some legend is there. Like there was one guy who did all the 8 peaks, and then so you become the champion, and you are the dragon. Sorry, I'm really bastardizing this, but you become the 9th dragon or something like that when you finish that. There's a very interesting race wherein you do a 50-mile the first day, and there is a break, and then on Sunday, the next day, you have to do a 50K.
Okay.
Okay, so it's technically like 140, 150K something.
143K.
Yes, yeah. But you have to take a break in between. I've never done stage race in my life, and I did the 50-mile. Really hard. It's full of stairs. Hong Kong is full of stairs. There are hard stone stairs.
Yeah.
And did the 50 miles. Then I slept in a car or on the pavement somewhere. Woke up the next day, terrible shape. I did the 50K. So that is that was such an eye opener. It's a lovely race. If someone wants to do something like a 2-day race and experience entire Hong Kong, most of the trace, it goes through Lantau, Wilson, and MacLehose. All these 4 amazing famous trails in Hong Kong. It covers that. Goes to Monkey Hill. Okay, yeah. So that was Nine Dragons, and that that was quite satisfying when I did that. Although it wasn't.
So you're saying essentially there's a break day in between.
Correct. You have
Ridiculous,
to.
isn't
You
it?
have to. You finish.
Stage race में ठीक है रात को सो जाओगे काफी है सुबह उठ के that's difficult enough. So they've given a one whole day's break.
Not a whole day. It depends on when you finish. On Saturday, I finished on Saturday evening. So you like Saturday evening to and then to Sunday morning. You're taking. You have to rest because it starts only next day. Yeah? And then you get the cumulative time. They add the time of A and B, and
of course I had some ridiculous some 5,000 meters of elevation.
वो सब कुछ नहीं है. It's quite manageable. Yeah.
No, it's 8,620.
Yes. That's
meters.
why it is what it is. And like you said, this is the highest DNF percentage race after Barclay. That was the official statistic. Yeah. So if someone does hashtag DNF race, don't. We know what we're talking about. Anyway, that was that's quite a crazy race, and
yeah. Then there's another crazy race in 2019, Italy. 400. So this is 357 kilometers.
330, I guess. Yeah, it is 350. I mean, it involves a little bit of here and there. Actually, let me tell you a little bit of history. The Tour de France you're talking about, 2019.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, by then, थोड़ा बुद्धि आ गया था, enough of these 100 milers. I'm getting old. Started searching for
Longer distances.
the most. I hate to say this. The toughest, baddest, grueling, blah blah blah. These are adjectives thrown around, by everyone. Every race director will do that. Going by stats, it's going by things on the internet. You look forward to this race. So there is this race in the Italian Alps, Aosta Valley, 330 kilometers and about 24,000 meters of D plus elevation gain. And
25,300.
Since I had quite a resume by then, something that I had done, I wrote to them and then said, okay. And then they said, looks like it. See, this is not your ordinary 100-mile. It's like a PhD in ultra running is what I read somewhere. I started that in 2019. This was after this was after the Hell 480. Okay.
Okay.
That's not the...
So Hell 480 is not here because it's not...
road race, hai na?
Achha.
Yeah. Pretty excited. This is... Now let me do... I would like to point out here Ashok Daniel, who, I consider a stalwart amongst Indian. He had run it once before.
Okay.
So I was really inspired by his thing. I trained again. Highly trained my ass for that. Went to Italy and it started off very well. It started off smooth, There was this, you go through high altitude passes, calls, and somewhere along the halfway stage, not even halfway stage, yeah, you get down to civilization, Konya, and then it was, it had snow, there was blizzards, blah, blah, blah. These, they don't warrant much thing, you have to continue. And I had like a congestion in my chest, and basically I just, I spat out. It was a little pink, and since I was just a little worried, okay, yaar, ho gaya, but I'm still moving. I'm here to do the race, and I went to the doctor, and then I showed him, still, and this is the case, and he's like, oh, you got some kind of edema, your blood is filled up in your lungs. I don't know, it's blah blah blah. It's like, okay, don't worry, you got some medicine? He said, no. Said, let me go. But your race ends here. He stopped me there. And that is when I remembered my non-existent God, He didn't let me go. He said, like, tu mar jayega. This is not possible. You're going to die. Theek hai yaar. I've seen worse. I'm trying to be cocky there, and like, let me go. And this is lost in translation. I don't speak Italian. And he's trying to get it, pleading him, please, let me go. I've come from far. I want to perform well. It was in the top 50 or so, Please let me go. He said, like, sorry, you're not going anywhere. He snatched my bib and he went away.
Wow.
Yeah. Halfway stage. Praying to God. Yeah. I stayed all evening, all night, 15 hours, Vipin. You won't believe it. 15 hours. Fucking, I was tears. It just let me go, man. All my dreams. Then he did something. He called his the race director, and she kind of said, "Okay, go. After the last runner passes through, you can go." Fuck. I was so delighted, and after that, to the 15 hours, I resumed my race and ran like a madman. Ran like crazy. That race, it's not a race. It's a lot of hiking. I mean, a single climb would be 2,500 meters easily. Which is like an entire race. One single climb, I mean, and then a downhill would be like 15 kilometers through boulders, and just you're on your own. You're carrying your food, everything. It's that kind of a race where just a lot of alpinism. Did that and yeah and fast forward, that was like, I was so desperate to finish that race, and I still don't know where I got that power, or that the second wind, like they say. After that delay, I managed to do that and did it in about 127 hours, thereby qualifying for the glaciers. the 450,
But the
which we
bigger
will
one.
talk about later.
So that's a longer version of the same race.
Okay, Tour de France is 330, and this Tour de Glacier is a 450 kilometer race, and totally self-supported, self-navigation, and it goes through even the lost, forgotten paths much higher than what you do in the 330. So all those the top finishers who do it under 130 hours get a chance to run the Tour de Glacier. So actually, I was selected there, and then that is my life ever since. My dream, my what I think of, because it is one of the most beautiful places in the world. The Aosta Valley, and people are so kind. It's so welcoming. Oh, we'll talk about that in detail and much later. But yeah, that enabled me to get some qualification for the bigger race.
450, that one, right?
Correct.
Qualification for. Okay. 480 happened before that, and I want to hear Hell 480.
I want to hear you. You talked about this guy from an outsider's perspective. You said this thing going on. I'll tell you what actually happened. Go on.
Yeah. So so Hell 480 in our imagination is not an easy race. One, by the distance. Two, planning and logistics. 3, altitude and stuff like that, right? And terrain challenges. All of those are massive challenges. And traffic is another one. So we've only seen it from outside. I've been on the verge of signing up for the 5 marathons in 5 days. What was that called? High Five.
Yeah.
3 times.
But who will be listening to this now?
Who would be? So 3 times I've been on the verge of signing up for it.
Oh, put it on record now.
And just
you have shot yourself in the foot.
and just somehow never happened. So anyway, I still feel time will come. But the barb of all those categories is the Hell 480, the big one. And only the Firang friend of ours had done it, Frankie. He was the only finisher, right? Before that?
Correct.
Nobody else.
No.
Till then. So in 2019 edition, you and Pulkit were 2 finishers.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. And what was it like? Because from here we were seeing video updates of you two caught in a snowstorm, and you two are like within a stone's throwaway distance, and like, was it you leading and looking behind that he's coming, and then you pacing up? It was almost like a test match getting a final over finish. It was like that from outside. It was
marketing.
thrilling.
Yeah. It's pretty much.
It was thrilling.
You hit the nail on the head. Yeah, I would say. Okay, let me go by. Let's take a little flashback.
For the audience who don't know what Hell 480 is, Google it. We're not telling you.
Yeah. It's all there on the. अरे कोई नहीं है, बच्चों का खेल है, कर लो.
कर लो,
कोई भी कर लेगा. Sure. Anyway, this was, like you said, only one guy has finished it. That French guy is trying from 3 years. He's not crossed Jispa. कुछ तो है रेस में. So a couple of probably 1 year. The year before,
had also tried it twice.
He's tried it again 2-3 times. He's never gotten it. I met Shashwat the year prior to that.
You want to talk about Solang first?
No, Solang happened later.
Okay.
Solang happened later.
Okay.
I'm telling you when I met him first. And then I said, Bhai, this thing is going by. I was in Manali. No, he was there. And I said, I would like to volunteer. And dekhte hain kya hai? What is this so much hyped about? So he said, ठीक है, आ जाओ. And I volunteered for Frankie.
Okay. You crewed him?
Sort of. I was in his crew vehicle entire way. And I mean, that guy's he's a grandfather, man. He's good. Yeah.
What, some 100 Ironmans? 100 plus Ironmans?
A Deca Ironman. You know an Ironman. Everyone knows an Ironman. So he's a Deca Ironman finishers wherein you do 10 Ironmans back to back.
So he's done that, and I think the total number of Ironmans he's done in his life is something like 129 or something. It's some ridiculous number. I was into triathlons at the time, and I noticed it.
If you see him up close, he will not really seem like an athlete. He's got pot belly and is an old chap. पर उसका यार बड़ा आदमी है ग्रीस में. He's He's with the politicians and all that. Anyway, I was crewing him the previous year, and I got a sneak peek into what exactly he's up to. And the kind of meticulous planning which he did. He was in Nepal earlier, and then he got ready for the race. Anyway, coming back to this, so I kind of had a clue of, chalo, it is also, he's not like running. He's not sprinting. His average pace is like, what, 15 minutes a mile or something like that. Like 4 miles an hour. We do it in case, I don't know. But what I liked about him was his attention to detail. Where to eat, where to do this. He had planned everything out, and that was so much of a learning for me. I like absorbed everything like a sponge, the entire experience. And I said, hey. Challenge ho to aisa na, like do something which no Indian has done. Put my head into it, and come 2019, that year it has snowed a lot, so the passes were all closed up to April, I believe. Yeah, but the roads were closed. I picked up the cycle, threw it on the bus, and then I took off to Rohtang. No, and the other side of Rohtang, that was where the buses went up to Tandipul. So I went up there, and that's it. From there, everything is white. I have my cycle, I have my backpack, and I'm here to do a recce of the course.
Yeah.
What to do? Come July, it's gonna be. There is this pass called the Baralacha Pass, which is a freaking killer, man. Yeah, I think I nearly lost my life there. I passed out there in a blizzard. This is what I recollect. Prayed to this.
क्या हुआ था?
God of
मतलब, like,
mine.
describe the
I'm
moment.
hauling my bike, and then there is no way I can go further. So I leave my bike there. I have my backpack and go. And there was a snow storm, like a total whiteout blizzard, wherein you don't know which way you have to go. Which way is down. You have to reach Bharatpur down there. That's not visible. So you really don't know where you're going. I'm stuck in waist deep snow. Try to wade my way through step by step by step. We don't give up so easily. And it was just when I was about to give up, and I was black out, couldn't do anything. I don't know. I spotted this tiny little dot in the distance, which is the JCB, the earth mover there. It's like some hope, something is there in this desperate situation. And I don't know how I made it, but then that's history. Went past that, people couldn't believe it. Nobody till that date in that year had passed the Baralacha Pass. Not even the BRO who cleared this. So on the other side, on Sarchu, the people are like, "How did you get here? Like, that's not possible. This is close." And so I came on foot. Now get me out of here. And then I did my recce to the other side of the highway. And this is when you learn so many things. When you're on your own, race is just 1% of the time. The training is 99%. Remember this. I keep telling everyone. What I learned there was real learning. The race was just an execution. Coming to the race itself, July, just did everything I could. I would need. I used to sleep outside in a sleeping bag to get used to sub-zero temperatures.
Okay.
Yeah. Just eat the dal chawal everywhere. And come race day, it was just another. Still young back then. This young rookie, charging off. We crossed Rohtang Pass by about before sunrise, and as we go down, now things have really improved. Back then, it was just there was no road at all. There was just slush and just some broken. It's not even I couldn't call broken road. It's just you just follow the river in most places. And I was pretty trashed by the time I reached the base, to Sisu and further on. I mean, not again talk about all what the fuck ups happened, but it was so beautiful. To watch the sunrise over those mountain passes, and it was majestic, man. I mean, and the sunset. I can tell you every place. I mean, the highway is now my home. I've done it 50 times maybe. Where I took a shit, where I had food. It was so memorable, man. When you actually see that landscape on foot, We all go by cars, motorcycles, you just going there. But on foot, you're like, the entire panorama is there. And
You experience a whole new world when you explore places on foot. Yeah.
Goosebumps, thinking back to the days. Yeah, by the time I reached Kilong and Darcha was like about 24-hour, not Darcha, a little before Jispa. Jispa has Padma Lodge, and then by then I know something funny was happening in my tibia, my forefoot, it's just hurting like shit. Oh well, like I said, you're here for a reason, and I can't like dwell too much upon this. I just bandaged it and then went ahead. Another rookie mistake, doing like so much in the first day is not advisable, because afterwards it will bite you in the ass. I did that, and then was I racing that day? No, I was leading the race. I was leading the race from the start to almost up to Gata loops. I don't know. And I thought, what was day 3 perhaps? Little sleep deprivation. I took a break. Then this chap trots along. Pulkit, who you're talking about. Yeah, he also he trained prior to this. In Ladakh, he was there for months, and then he had trained. He's
same track, like same route.
Yeah, all you need is acclimatization, and I'm telling you, anyone can do it if you're acclimatized to that altitude and the windy conditions, the dust, the blah blah blah. That's all it is, right? You're just doing that. 99% is training. This is just 1% what you're doing. This chap up, and we kind of had a little bonding there, and we did a few miles together. And again, I took the lead. But about day 3 was what I was really looking forward to. The More Plains, what they say, no? Those who don't know, it's this huge desert field in the middle of nowhere. I mean, mountains are like far off in the horizon, and then
on both sides.
Yeah, on both sides, and it was dark by then, sadly, and I hadn't slept a wink by then. That's when your so-called hallucinations crept in. I'm like swaying here and there. But then some crew fuck up had happened. The vehicle is gone. Not that he was really following you. You need a good crew for such races. Those who want to attempt it. A good driver. Yeah, someone who support you. And not your loved ones as a crew. Someone. Yeah.
They will want you to go home at the first instance.
That's a topic for another day. Never have your loved ones crew for you. So, okay, I kind of meander here and there, and then I collapse. There is a little like for the water goes underneath the road, like a thing, and then I just collapse somewhere. I have vague memories of that. And the night passes, and I'm out.
What?
It's like just like I'm out. And this chap, Pulkit, then takes the lead. And we cross next day morning, knock some sense into my head, knock some food into my body, and carry on. Took the lead again to Tanglangla. So I that's when it started hitting me. I have some competition here, and I will not back down. Of course, he won't back down too. Like, no fucking way I'm gonna get this guy get away with this. And mind, I've broken my leg, and I had my hiking pole. Using that, I crossed. And thank you. Tanglangla, the highest pass amongst the 5 passes, 5,300 meters. Yeah. The weather was like, I think that's what you're referring to, the snowstorm and, what was captured. And Shashwat said, see you at the stupa, finish line. He told me right then, no, bhai, commitment de diya. Nah, just kidding. I was domination comes from within. Whatever anyone says and all that, that is just emotions mein beh jata hai. It doesn't happen. Then I slept again. I collapsed again. I slept in some abandoned, broken vehicle was there by the road. I just crashed inside that the 4th night. 50k to go. Okay. Morning. Upshi. Reach Upshi. Yeah. This guy, I don't know why he looks fresh and he looks okay. He's ready to go. He's had a shower, maybe. I don't know. And that was when it really started the race, as you would call it. It was not along the same road. We have to go up to where is that, Hemis Monastery or somewhere. We have to go here and there along the little narrow roads. It was. I don't think it was the same route as previous as always. It was a bit here and there. You got lost. But yeah, it was cat and mouse, like you said. A lot of back and forth, and something in me said, "No, man, I can't let this guy go. I can't let this guy go away." I had some people running along me. Please, something, I wouldn't say it's crowing or it's what do you call it, pacing or anything, but they were there, and we reached the base. We reached Leh Airport. You know that area? You've seen? Helipad, yeah. Yeah, the Leh Airport, actually. We come from behind.
Okay.
And then we climb Leh Airport. There is a huge India flag there.
Okay.
And you crane your neck, you can probably see the Stanchi Stupa, the finish line there. It's like that was when the real racing instinct took over, It's like, dude, I'm not here to make friends, okay? It's you versus me. Look into his eyes, yeah?
Yeah.
And it was a real man-to-man shit. And, yeah. And he said, you want a race? The race starts now. This is privy. Nobody knows about this. Pulkit, I don't think he will. Yeah. He's a nice guy, sweet chap, humble chap. He said, you know what? Go on, he said. He couldn't handle that pace, which I had kept for the end. He said he's like he was just shaking his head and yes sir, a salute to him, to the India flag, and then that was quite memorable, and all the emotions come gushing in, and to be the first Indian to do something, and it was made a big deal back then. Yeah, now our great kudos to Ramjat, another guy in our fraternity, has done it. Fabulous feeling.
Fabulous race.
Fabulous race. I broke my leg next day. The first time in my life I sat in a wheelchair. Yeah, I went to Leh hospital. They said, hey, tu kaise aaya yahan? I was like, aise aaye langadate hue. And they took an x-ray and said, your tibia is broken. Not going anywhere. Put me in a cast, and
Oh, right after the race, you were put in a cast.
Yeah. Everyone left. Everyone left. I took I hitchhiked my way back in a truck. 3 days. No, 5. It took 5 days, actually. They were talking. I'll tell you the positive stuff. I had the best time of my life in a truck. We cooked food together. I had a jolly time. 5 days back to Manali in a truck. Lies, man. Nobody gives a fucking shit.
Yeah.
I had the time. I had a blast. So learning and
fabulous race, and I have even more respect for Pulkit now. Given that where he comes from, I don't he wasn't in the scene at all, and what he ended up doing was quite incredible. I mean, I consider you an athlete of stature, and he's
lying. I said he's lying.
No, he didn't say that. I'm saying, you're saying I'm lying. Okay, no. I said I consider.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and he gave you a bit of a competition, hassled you for a bit, which was very good of him. Yeah, it's good. And what's where did do you know about Pulkit at all? Where did he come out of the scene from? And where is he now? Does he?
I don't know where he is nowadays. But he had trained for it. Yeah, come on. This is such a big deal, man. I spent all my life savings on this race. Bas the hi 50 Shashwat bhai, I'll give 50 grand, yaar, please. Back then it was please, mujhe entry de do na. You will obviously train for it. No, everyone who is in the start line, whoever the 8-10 people, every runner will train for it. Of course, you have to qualify for it. He doesn't pick Tom, Dick and Harry. You have to be qualified to run this race based on some, I don't know, you should ask him. But Pulkit had trained earlier. I believe he was training in a helipad. He used to do laps around a single helipad in Mumbai somewhere. Like a crazy guy he was. He's an IITian. Dimagi banda hai. He used to do that. He did train well for the race. I know
Okay.
him.
Okay.
One of those guys was then lost.
Wonderful. Brilliant race. Solang Sky Ultra. It's been a favorite of a lot of people in the community. We feel we've made a world-class race, even though we still don't see Killian and other folks coming. But
That's not a parameter. Okay, go on.
Well, it's not a parameter, but it'll be nice to have them. That's what I'm saying.
हाँ पैसा दो आएगा.
वैसे भी क्या आते हैं?
बिल्कुल. I'll talk to Killian.
Western states में वो पैसे देके.
No, that's a different category.
So anyway, Solang Sky Ultra. It's a great job done by the Hell Race team. You've been associated with the race in some ways, or just in capacity of a runner?
Yes, Shashwat and I go back then. I live in Solang then, okay? And I have seen this race, even there was no 100K earlier. 100K started in 2019, 2020, or I don't know. Check it. 60K it was back then. We used to go
30K
with,
and 60K.
yeah, there was, in the Hell Race team, there was Nupur Singh, there was Baba, there was
Pushkar.
The Pushkar also came much later. Yeah. It's just three of them. He used to go and mark the course, and if you visit Solang these days, you would still find till date there will be the blue markings, which is from the first edition of Solang. So I wouldn't say I'm competitive, but I know that the course quite well. I wake up, I run every day on the same place. I feel close to that race. I feel it's a part of me when you are just you run there every day, right? It is such a beautiful place to run. So that happened. The 100K happened, and Bhai is kind enough to give me a slot and entry, and said I will run it as well. After all the days prior to it, Baba and I think Baba has done the most elevation, and I don't know if he put it on Strava or no, he's not on Strava or something. Rohit Kalyana, we're talking about. He was a champion mountaineer back in the day. I don't know now. He's a bit off the scene. He's getting married or something. He said.
Is he?
Yeah, I heard some rumor. Babaji, please clarify karo. Huh? Anyway, it was just 3-4 of us, and we had like a real quirky way of functioning back then. Doing everything at the last moment and all that. And yeah, the he came up with a 100K route. Again, kudos to Baba. He did that. We'll have a discussion later. Back then, how many started? I don't know. There was just a handful, maybe 10 100K starters or something. And then there've been, oh my God, Vipin, you're confusing me now. There've been 5 editions. I won 4 of them. So it's got to be for 2020. It happened during the pandemic also. We didn't stop. Yeah, I won the first edition. It was good competition with our Jay Govind, who we are talking about. Champion athlete. Such a humble guy. Yeah. It was good competition with him. And he gave up. Then, these years go by so fast. It's a little blur. What happened? Second year, again, I won the race. And bear in mind, every year I was reducing the time. The finish time. Started off. See, it goes through high altitude passes, at Brigu Lake, and also at Biaskund. Near Biaskund, there is a Lady Leg section, which is about 4,300 meters.
The infamous Lady Leg.
Yeah. You ask them Lady Leg. Why it's called Lady Leg? Because it's clean, apparently. The grass is really clean there. Anyway. Yeah, there have been additions and, modifications every year. That's what I keep telling by how it's not standard, no? Not like Western states, something this is a race, it starts at this time, nothing like that. Everything changes every year. Route mein thoda changes hota hai. Of course, there are weather and all that. But yeah, again, I wanted third year was also good. He had good, fabulous athlete from Nepal. This guy I called him.
Yaman Nimbu.
Not Nimbu. This is Jivan Lama. Done a race. I had done his race in Nepal.
Limbu is from India.
Yeah. He came on in the fourth edition, which was a pretty fuck up for me. But again, a champion athlete, and you keep wondering, like you asked what pull kid, what was this guy? ऐसे कोई athlete नहीं बन जाता. He trained his ass off, The backstory is he has a so-called coach, sab, whoever, manager or whatever. He made him haul load at 4,000 meters altitude. What was that? Srikhand Mahadev somewhere, no? And some other mountain on Himachal. No, some other part of Himachal, no? He was training for a month there, and of course, a youngster and someone is like, probably incentivized him to do something. He trained his ass off, and it clicked for him that day. It was in my day. Again, till date, that is the fastest time in so long, but
by far though, like 66 hours.
I would like to
massive.
see his data, see how it performed, because he was not in much insight at all. So we're all talking this, from third person's perspective. But someone who knows him closely and know how he trains and what's his body parameters, his cadence, his heart rate, blah blah blah. I want to understand the actually scientific nitty-gritty of which I'm privy of, and which few know. So I'm one of case, and that day that was the best conditions till date. No, perfect conditions. No rain, no snow, no rubbish. As always, there is something there here and there, which people talk about, which will deter them. A race of this magnitude, if one thing goes wrong, usually it has like a snowballing effect, and then race just keeps going, blah 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 blah. That's when local advantage is helpful, and I had plan B, plan C, what to do. Blah, blah.
Yeah,
it's just I'm this old guy, and I just go for a hike. It's usually last 3 years. It's after my big race in Europe, and I come back and I'm pretty smashed. So that year edition when Limbu won the race, it was a pretty. They had a lot of pacers. Now I don't know what is this. Pacer comes in at the end of a race, right? But this pacer was jumping in here and there. My pacer was about to die. I had to sit and feed him for an hour. All this happened anyway. That's a long story. We'll talk about it when you come there. Okay. Yeah, but this race again is I would do it every year, man. It's so close. Come hell or high water, I would. No matter what people say, what people think, I think there is. Let me put this on record. In India, there is no such race of this magnitude. Just go by numbers, okay? Don't people talk blah blah blah. Everyone thinks this is the big bag, but in India, it's in if you want to compare it to some races abroad, I think it's right up there. The team does such a fabulous job with the limited resources. It's run by local volunteers. Sometimes fuck up, but again, small team, yeah? And it's a huge area, 100K. So
and the conditions and the terrain. It's not the easiest.
Yeah. So again, it's not only for those who really want to challenge them, those Indians, but even someone coming from abroad, to tell anybody, this is something which is which you would enjoy.
World class.
World class, absolutely, right up there.
Solang is a beautiful race, and glad you enjoy doing it, and I'm glad this race will only raise the stature of Indian trail running in times to come. And it's been great to see you racing there every year. Your best has been 20 hours.
Yes, 20 hours and change. Yeah, that was 2 years ago. Yeah.
Okay, but this is more than a race for you.
It's dynamic, the conditions are changing every year, and just hope standard. Then we can talk about course record and all that, because a lot of factors.
Sure, of course. Yeah. Year to year, they differ.
No, an athlete will know. An athlete who's run through the entire night will know exactly what he goes through, right? So someone who's run the race.
Was it at the end of a Solang Sky Ultra that you were found crying?
Oh no!
Where was that video?
That was a race. Yeah,
It was
it was pretty bummed,
Solang?
man. Yes, it was the race which I didn't win, and well, I'm not the one to give excuses, but many factors were not in my favor the other day, and the reality is the other guy outperformed. And sometimes you just have to bow down and shake his hand. He's done a wow, man, well done. I would like to run with you sometime. I told him, and I had my own shit going through those days. Lost my dad a year earlier or something. I don't know. Like I said, multiple reasons was that 2 years back. It didn't go in my favor. But again, I was at that stage, I was actually just humbled that I have done this. Thank you, God. I was like in that kind of state, and I said, yeah, it's not like I gave up. That was what was going through my mind then.
So you were glad to have finished despite whatever was going through.
A million factors happened. Glad to finish, and you can call me whatever you want, but an athlete is an athlete. If you don't win, it hurts, and it hurts really bad. A few days later, especially.
We're over 2 hours into the podcast.
Only.
Let's talk. Yeah, we're only getting started.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of the tougher races that you've done, like some of the ones that you've learned a lot from.
Oh, there are a lot of tougher races, man. Again, this is challenges have. I've run in mountains, in deserts, in freaking volcanoes, and on the beach, and it's in a variety of shit. Well, the race in just going by numbers. There's a race in Indonesia called the Rinjani 100, which comes to mind. And a 100-mile with 15,000 meters of elevation game. It's called Sea to Summit. See, and then
Wow.
I had fond memories of that. On the first edition, especially, I was leading the race almost till the last aid station, and then again, I'm not making excuses, but I whacked my knee somewhere and hobbled the next. I came third. Again, that would have been anyway. That race is fabulous. Something which, you know why I say this? Because race stats are there. You are aware of this. Oh, there's this 2,000 meter climb. Oh, you got to run 12 hours in between aid stations. I'm telling you, it's that kind of race. But then you're prepared for it. And the kind of hard work you have to put in to prepare for such a race is what drives me, is what is challenging me. And I find a joy when I execute that. So a podium in that race, another very, very memorable race. If someone wants to really try a good 100-miler, another one of the Endra Vijaya's races, fabulous, Rinjani 100. Another race I can drink of is in Japan, the one I was invited to recently. Another 100-mile, this had a 16,000 meters of elevation gain. Okay, and then I think those in the community would know this is cumulative elevation. So you're just going up, down, up, and relentless. 42 hours, something as a cutoff, and
wow,
a very nice race. Something which I would recommend for 100-mile racers. Yeah.
And you said it is the training that you have to do leading up to these races. What does that training look like? Give us a peek into, let's say, one of the trainings for one of these races. What does it look like? What can you give us like broad principles or a snapshot of your training? What does the mileage look like? What's the ratio of speed work versus long slow? What's the elevation training? What's the strength training like? Just give us a peek.
That's why I told you, please, Vipin, come to my place. These things at least a mountain trail runner do not really go by these things. Okay, in putting it in short, each race will have its different challenges. So you train according to that. Okay, 100-mile, you train put in like 100 miles a week. Like I'm doing a 450 kilometers, which I did last year. elevation gain close to 40,000 meters. More than, yeah, and then you are on different terrain. You are above 3,000 meters all the time, and the clock doesn't stop. This is you're carrying your stuff. So this training is totally different. And speed work 0. I have not done one in my road shoe. I don't even have a road shoe. How many trail shoes? So it's just going up, down, entire day, entire night. I love that elevation challenge, man. That you know, if someone gives me someone gave me a challenge, you know, once Sunto had a challenge. Bastards, they said they'll give me a watch, man. I topped the ranking in India. You know, I did close 30,000 meters in a week, 32,000, 6 days. And then the bugger saying like, you have to put selfie, you have to take photo there. And I'm like, dude, it's there on my watch. It's there on Strava. Check it out. Sadly, I didn't get that watch. But yeah, that training is what makes you wake up in the morning, or sometimes you don't sleep. It's just that you have to put in the training. If you don't put in the training, it will show up in race.
Sure.
And then that is when everyone gives excuse. Oh, the conditions is bad. This race director, they don't khana nahi mila. That will come up. But there is nothing called bad conditions, bad
correct
race.
Yeah.
Just bad training. That's all. No,
bad training, or on some days there's nothing bad and it's just out of your control.
I mean, if it's out of your control, you can deal with it. No, that's how I look at
Accept
it. You know,
That's how it is.
no, and take actions to, you know, get better. I mean, like
on the day, what are you going to do? Like you've had a terrible race. Conditions didn't go in your favor or whatever.
So,
but you did your best.
So,
and you are at the finish line. You didn't come first. You're second.
Okay.
Or third.
Okay.
Or let's say a non-ranker.
Podium, theek hai. Okay. Non-ranker.
Non-ranker. Let's say fourth.
Fuck, and
or sixth.
Hurt me. It'll hurt you, no?
It'll hurt. Today, what are you going to
do? What are you going to do? Just sulk, man. I mean, today...
drink some beer.
You know the answer. No. Do a kind of a recap to where things went wrong.
Where things went
wrong. Put it down on paper.
Take an inventory of,
Absolutely. You should not do that mistakes again.
Yeah.
That's what is an evolving athlete. Otherwise, you don't progress. So there's no snapshot into like my daily life. It's just going up, down.
We'll have to come and see the snapshot.
Yeah. Please do. And that's why you will like it. I mean, why do I do it? Man, I get to see the most beautiful sunsets in the world. There's something called an alpine glow. Have you heard of it?
No.
An alpine glow? Once
Devendra has.
Alpine glow suna hai, when the sun goes down beyond the horizon, it kind of reflects off the cloud, and the peaks, the snow-covered peaks.
Right.
Beautiful pink, orange, and different colors. You get it in the sunrise and sunset. So you get those moments in which you just stop and stare. And man, I'm getting to do this. It's a privilege. Not many get to do it. Then you go back to your house in your phate jute and dirty, smelly clothes, and then that is your headache. Deal with it. I will not talk about that.
Shashwat, a couple of questions to end with. First, I want to know, what do you hope to achieve with this? So you're putting in a lot, right? Where do you want to get to?
The grave is the finish line, huh? No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I'm this eternal optimist. Yeah, come on, something will
come off it.
I'm happy doing what I want, but your happiness, this thing I cannot give you like this. No, I mean, how do I put this? What is the question again?
Do you have a conception of what you want to get out of it? Like hopefully something will come out of this, right?
Like what? Nothing has happened in these years. If we look at external parameters, like a government or like a body supporting you.
Oh yeah, so all of that is zilch. Like that's zero.
You're aware of the sad state of affairs.
It's very very sad.
Airport के बाहर ऑटो करके खड़े रहते हैं, ऑटो के बस में जाते हैं. Fuck, man. अभी जनरल में आया 3 दिन. हाँ? All travel 100 times across India. Saving money, no? फ्री में जाओ ट्रेन में. थोड़ी कोई जहाज में भेजेगा.
ना
Our struggles as athletes, I'm not the only one. I mean, like, so many are there, and so many fall by the wayside. मैं तो बुड्ढा हो गया हूँ यार. I've been doing this so long.
पर ये भी
हाँ?
ग्लोबली ऐसे ही है ना यार. It's not like
Oh, no. I would beg to differ.
people get
Globally,
supported.
if you are an elite athlete, you would have
yes,
contracts.
sponsorship.
You would have something, performance-based contracts. Sponsorships are based. Okay, इतना podium करो, then we will renew your contract. Otherwise, when you guy comes in. अभी इंडिया में क्या है? तो there are hardly a handful of here and there so-called brands, and they. I'm naming any few. We are all aware of that. They say, यार तू तो पहाड़ों में बैठा है सन्यास, तेरे वो कितना फॉलोइंग है, दिस दैट ब्ला ब्ला. Podium and all doesn't matter in today's day and age. Where you see those guys who won, who we're talking about, the Pulkits, why are they are nowhere. एक हो गया खत्म. कहाँ है? हम तो इधर 5 साल कर रहे हैं इधर सोलांग में, जीत क्या मिला? हाँ भाई, दाल भात दे दो भाई, खुश हो जाएंगे हम. Hey, I'm doing it a little overboard, but it's a sad state of affairs, and I'm not the one to say that the problem hai. We are all runners, right? We should form a union, an association, and look out and help the ones who really are performing. I mean, I'm telling, please shine a light on the real champions, on the real stalwarts in this game. Not one or two. You've heard of Arun Bharadwaj.
Yeah.
How many of India knows about Arun Bharadwaj? And the kind of miles he's run in his life, nobody would have run.
Yeah.
You talk about Ashok Daniel. We talked about so many people, right?
Yeah.
There are the true custodians of this sport. I love my sport so much that I will speak passionately about this.
Sure.
Okay? People may think I'm getting aggressive. No. I do something to help those who every athlete works hard. But identify who is working hard. Everyone is sponsored.
But the point is, where's the money? It's not like somebody's getting the money. This sport itself is so new, and it's not a spectator sport. It does not.
Come on, yaar. This shit is going on since how many years?
It's not right, but it's not a spectator sport.
So what's your point here?
How does the sport make money? IPL gets eyeballs, it makes money.
We are going somewhere else.
It gets people to watch.
Hanji. So?
यहाँ पे there are 4 people following the races. कैसा कहाँ से आएगा? Brands have to stand for it. Nike, it stood for athletes overseas. That's what it did. It says, I am for you guys. And that's how the aspiring athletes also, or the aspiring everyday runner also followed the brand, and that's how they built the brand. So brands have to really come forward, and they have to have budgets for this. These buggers, I don't think they have the vision to see where the sport can take you and where the sort of visibility
the population, 1.4 billion. If they don't believe it's like that, but it's sad state of affairs. None of these the brands are there even in India. Oka, or they're not even present. Still, I'm not so
they come
so
and
optimistic, man. I was thinking more like sarkar se kuch ho jaye, so that's.
So my uncle, we did an episode with Dr. Ajay Jangra, who works for Sai. He's Indian national volleyball coach.
He would have traveled. Ask him how he travels.
Yeah. So yeah, sure. And when Gulia's visa was rejected when it was, so I called him and I was like, can we do something? He said, क्या बात कर रहे हो? हमारे players के visas रोज reject होते हैं. हमारे athletes रोज, मैंने कहा career खराब हो जाएगा ऐसे. बोले रोज career खराब होते हैं भाई. नहीं है पैसा किसी के पास और ना कोई परवाह करता है. And I'm about to speak to this guy.
Basic things, courtesy.
Yeah, and Meenal recommended this guy Raja Raman, who's a journalist, writes a lot on cricket and various other things. Yeah. And so Meenal said when you speak to him about the money and stuff like that. So he'll tell you how all these federations just don't have it. Like ऐसा नहीं कि वो देना नहीं चाह रहे हैं. They don't make money to even sustain. है ही नहीं इन federations के पास में पैसा. So the only way this shit can work is government to bhul jao. It's the brands that have deeper pockets. brands that are coming from overseas. Hoka आएगा, so they'll hire an agency, Instagram marketing agency hire कर लेंगे, and they'll identify इसके 10,000 followers है, तो माइक्रो इन्फ्लुएंसर है, ये मैक्रो इन्फ्लुएंसर है, ये मेगा इन्फ्लुएंसर है, और इसको जूते भेजने हैं, इसको जूते के साथ में टी शर्ट भी भेजनी है, इसके जूते के साथ में एक और चीज भेजनी है, and that's all that they care about. Who's doing well for the sport? Who's going to kill it on the podium? They don't even know, and they don't even care. That's where the shit is right now.
So
It's the brands.
conclude then. It's I was saying Sarkar can assist. You're saying brands can do, and
Whoever can
actually कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा है right now.
कुछ नहीं हो रहा है. There's no doubt.
What's the way forward? Yep, that way. ऐसी बात नहीं है जी. It's all upon us.
Sarkar,
it's all upon
like
us.
What can happen?
यार like you said, simple चीज, वीजा असिस्टेंस यार, every time ऑफिस में वीजा का दे दो.
अभी राकेश कश्यप सर का बेड वाटर का सिलेक्शन हो गया है, वीजा नहीं आया है. एवरीबडी इज ट्वीटिंग,
वीजा कॉन्सुलेट करता है. वीजा दिस गाय विल नॉट गिव एनी व्हाटएवर. कोई भी बोलेगा नो, कॉन्सुलेट ओनली विल गिव. ओके, एम्बेसी विल गिव. आई नो दिस मच. बट ठीक है, एटलीस्ट रिकॉग्नाइज. हाँ भाई, दिस चैप इज एथलीट फ्रॉम इंडिया, यू नो, इसका आधार कार्ड ये है, एंड ही वांट्स टू गो दिस. प्लीज do the needful. He's genuine. वहाँ जाके he's not going to do any lafda. That's that much is all. And small things. There is an association, a so-called association. अब उनकी तरफ से क्या मिल रहा है? You will get maybe one tracksuit. क्या शिव नरेश का tracksuit मिलेगा? Right? And
you're saying, right?
Let us not take names. Everyone is aware of who's where and who's getting selected, who's going what. Who is running the show? Have they ever run an ultra marathon in their life? Committee is called ultra running.
Yeah, so I intend to speak to somebody in IAU also at some point.
Yeah.
And ask what's happening.
करते ना कुछ. Start a society registration act 1956 में. We'll put one thing. We'll start all our runners.
Make an association.
Absolutely.
And then have a voice.
Absolutely. It's there. It's happening. I got a mail. There's something called Pro Trail Runners Association. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Yeah. They're taking ownership and doing something about it.
Share more details, and you know, I'll be happy to float it with the audience, with our team, with our runners, in our community. Why not?
Until then, okay, at least all the runners should know that there are certain races. Now, so much 2 hours I've been yapping away. There's these kind of race, that kind of. How many people in India know it? Nah, hardly any. But talent, so much talent is there. Northeast mein, Maharashtra mein, you know, young guns are always there.
Yeah.
They don't know all this. If they had any idea that, wow, I'm gonna get some kind of recognition there.
Yeah.
Huh?
For sure.
It's
that'll raise the bar for the sport as well. Why not? It would.
Yeah, right. That's that. Yeah.
It is.
Yep.
Anyway, so you've been doing what you've been doing despite all of this, right? It's not like you had support earlier, or you know, you've been doing all of this by yourself pretty much. What's next up for you?
So the eternal question for every runner, no?
For every athlete in some
what are you training for?
Yeah, for every athlete.
Yeah, what are you training for? Yeah.
Like Diana Niad, when she finished her Cuba to Florida swim, there's a movie on Netflix on it now. The moment she finished, there were reporters with mics like, what's next? What's next? And she said, सांस लेने दो भाई, जाओ भी तुम. Anyway, so
I'm not any spring chicken anymore. Yeah. I am 36, 37, and now I have, why am I talking like a sage or something? But I want to improve on everything I do, and working towards it. I've never felt lighter. I've never been faster. I think I'm still in the prime. I mean, we spoke about Frankie. He was 55 or something. Yeah. And why even age is not a parameter in this sport. In this sport, just
even Harvey, close to his 50, is peaking now. Harvey Lewis,
hard rock winner yesterday. Ludo Pomeroy, 50. Yeah. Killian once told, like in this ultra running, and it's not about how old. It's all about the amount of time you put on the trails. Okay, it's the overall mileage or the overall all-time records what you see till date. So some do it in their teens, some do it much later in life. Like us, we start much later. The more experience you gain, the better you are. That's all I say.
Yeah.
And I still think I have some in me, and albeit it's getting a little tough. The well has run dry, and things haven't been so good in Himachal, and with income and all that. But again, that's my shit. I'm not the one to give up. I still want to stab at doing well at the Tor 450. Okay, this is the race which I told you about in Italy, and I will do anything it takes.
And when is the race?
The race happens in September, first week. It's a race at the cutoff with a time limit of 190 hours. So it's something which needs a really. I've done it twice. Sorry, once. 1 year it was stopped. This is probably my last throw of the dice. Don't know if I should say this on air, but just somehow I've been thinking about it, and I just implore you, if that's not my style. I'm really looking forward to this race, and I will do anything I want. If people can connect with me, who thinks that okay, he may perform, and some faith in people have put faith in me. I still have to repay debts. I would reach out to them. Yeah. And made some suggested made some internet
So there is a
page.
crowdfunding page.
Hanji, thank you. It's on kito.org /last chance. I've named it a last chance. So yeah, we will share that in the show notes. If someone feels free, feels connect
this
with
cause.
me, thank you.
Yeah.
I will humbly, with folded arms, I request you, give me a loan. I will repay it. Kuli karega, pata hai na? But if I get some assistance, then I will give it my all. Yeah, thank you.
No, the state of affairs is sad, man. But I'm hopeful that you're doing this race, and I'm pretty sure you will do it. I'm pretty sure people will come forward and help.
Inshallah.
And we will definitely urge every single one of the audience who's listening to this to come forward and help in whatever capacity they can. We will link it in the show notes, and we'll share all the details.
Thank you, Ji.
And connect with Shashwat. And if you connect with his story, do connect with him and drop in a word. That'll encourage him. Wonderful, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for making time.
Oh, no, like I said, please, you should, the real time is when we go out on a run, yeah?
Yeah.
I encourage everyone, please, whoever comes to Himachal, please, we would love to run with you. And I'm not so much on the internet or that, but you will find me at, if I'm in Solang, I will be at Nagmandir at 7 a.m. every day. Or come to Lahore and just ask for Rao, and anybody will guide you. And there's only one nut runner around here.
That explains the idea.
Yeah, no, actually it was something else. It was some nut butter brand. They made it for me. Anyway,
okay.
So it's just stuck. Nutcase.
Wonderful, sir. Pleasure. Thank you.
Oh, no, thank you, Ji.
Thank you so much.
Lovely.
Cheers.
Cheers.